In the world of junior golf, there's no shortage of talent, but rarely does one name rise clearly above the rest. Miles Russell was that name. The reigning AJA Player of the Year, a competitor whose rise was built not on hype, but on consistency. Didn't dominate. Occasionally, he did it repeatedly, week after week, tournament after tournament. If there was one player who controlled the field with both technique and mentality, it was Miles. He wasn't a promise. He was the benchmark to those inside. The junior golf circuit, his presence at the Aja team tailor-made. Invitational came as no surprise. This was his kind of event, not one he entered just to play, but one he was expected to win. His name topped every analyst's list. Scouts watched him. Opponents respected him. He knew the courses, he knew the pressure, and more importantly, he knew the feeling of winning. At this level, in a field full of hopefuls, he was the one with history media outlets like Golf Monthly, NBC Sports, and Reuters. All noted the tournament's strong field, but Miles Russell's name always stood, alone, not as a contender, but as the standard. The question wasn't if he would perform, but who could possibly keep up. His swing was effortless. His rhythm was ice cold. His focus unshakable to everyone on that tee box. This was Miles Russell's territory, but tournaments aren't won on reputation and in a game where every hole tells a story. Sometimes an unknown name shows up with a pen of their own. You can be the favorite, you can have the experience, you can even be the best, but sometimes the biggest surprises don't come from those on top. They come from the ones no one saw coming. There were no cameras on him. During warm-ups, no pre-tournament interviews. No buzz from golf analysts. Charlie Woods entered the team tailor-made. Invitational ranked in 606 in the AJGA. No standings, not a dark horse, not a headline, just another name on the tee sheet, his registration. Barely made a ripple, no expectations, no noise, and that's exactly how a surprise begins. Quietly, he had played at this level before, but never on a stage in 5 AJA events. He had one top 25 finish. It's not bad, but not the kind of results that raise eyebrows. Every shot he took came against a mountain of comparisons, not to other juniors, but to his last name. Because when your name is Woods, you don't really get to start at zero. Charlie played his opening holes with the calm of someone who had nothing to prove, and everything no flashy moves, no dramatic reactions, just controlled motion, hole after hole, while others warmed up in the spotlight of expectations. Charlie emerged from the shadow of silence. His name wasn't on anyone's watch list, but every par, every birdie added something. New weight, not the weight of fame, but the weight of focus, when he turned in a round of 70 on day 1. A few people glanced up when he posted a 65 on day 2. No one looked away. This wasn't luck. It wasn't a hot streak. It was calm, rhythm, and a plan that had been quietly taking shape long before this tournament began. The son of a legend had started doing something few expected. He began writing a story of his own, and the ink wasn't drying slowly, and yet under the radar is where stories like this are born. Every tournament day begins with numbers, but it ends with impressions. On day 2 of the Team TaylorMade Invitational, Charlie Woods showed he was more than just a last name on the leaderboard. His round of 65 wasn't a fluke, it was a statement. 8 birdies, precision off the tee irons. It's dropping into place like clockwork, no show, no flair. It's just craftsmanship, and in a field full of promise. Charlie suddenly started setting the tone. What stood out wasn't just the score, it was his expression, not tense, not hyped, just focused. While others in his group sped up or slowed down after mistakes, Charlie kept one rhythm, no reactions to bad bounces, no fist pumps after birdies. The pressure came, but he didn't flinch. He moved like this wasn't his biggest moment, it was his most natural one. At the same time, Miles Russell continued to play. No mistakes, no drama, exactly what you'd expect from the number 1, but something had shifted. The buzz wasn't just about Russell's consistency anymore, it was about Charlie's climb, hole by hole. The attention began to tilt. Media started updating headlines, coaches checked the live scores more often, players in the clubhouse began rethinking their Sunday pairings, because when an unknown starts rising, no one asks why, they ask when will it stop? For the first time all week, the name Charlie Woods didn't sound like a footnote. It sounded like a threat. And it wasn't just his last name that made people watch. It was his. Score, his calm, his control. By the end of day 2, whispers turned into watch lists. Some rounds win a tournament. Others rewrite a reputation, and Charlie Woods' final round of 66 did both 8. Birdies, no double bogeys, barely a misstep, everything seemed to click, not because of magic but because of method. Where others tightened up under Sunday pressure, Charlie found another gear his game. Didn't get nervous, it got sharper, and in a field full of noise, he suddenly became the only sound. The difference wasn't just in the numbers, though. They spoke volumes. While top favorite Miles Russell finished at a strong 8 under. Charlie posted a final score of 15 under par, not close, not lucky, convincing a 3-shot margin over what many called the strongest field of the AJA season. According to Reuters, it was a statement win, not a flash, not a fluke, a warning. What Charlie delivered that day wasn't a miracle round. It was control. Every shot looked rehearsed. No risky hero shots, no tentative bailouts, just cold, clean execution. Charlie played like a veteran wrote Golf Digest, and maybe that was the most surprising part. Not that he won, but how he won. He didn't play like someone proving something, he played like someone confirming it. When the final putt dropped and the score became official, the course didn't fall silent because of disappointment, it went quiet because of realization. This wasn't just a kid playing well, this was a player arriving with intent, and just like that, the player in the shadows stepped into the spotlight. The score was final, but the real impact hadn't even started within hours of Charlie Woods locking in his win at the Team TaylorMade Invitational. The golf world began to buzz Sports Illustrated. The New York Post Golf Digest. They weren't writing about Tiger's son anymore. They were writing about Charlie, the competitor, the breakout, the threat. The tone shifted almost instantly. He was no longer a name with expectations. He was a name to game. Playing around on social media, coaches began sharing clips of his swing with words like composure, maturity, and precision. Not potential, not promise, words usually reserved for college stars or rising tour pros. According to Golf Monthly, several NCAA programs openly asked whether they'd missed him on their radar. Charlie's reputation wasn't growing, it exploded. Fans followed suit. The conversation quickly moved from cool to see him out there to how far can this kid actually go. The video of his final round was shared, broken down frame by frame, not to compare him to his father, but to understand how he had done it. The tempo, the calm, the confidence. This wasn't a son riding on borrowed glory. This was a young player forcing his way into the spotlight on his own merit, and that conversation didn't stop at the 18th green. What once was viewed as legacy is now seen as a threat. Charlie hadn't just played well. He had started something, a story of his own, one that others were suddenly watching. He wasn't just the weekend surprise. He had become a name players would start preparing for. This wasn't hype anymore. It was happening. Some wins stay in the weekend. They happen. This one didn't. Just days after his victory at the Team TaylorMade Invitational, Charlie Woods made a leap no one saw coming. According to Reuters, he jumped from number 66 to 14 in the AJGA rankings. 1 win, 1 performance, and the entire landscape of junior golf had been reshuffled. Not just because of what he did, but because of what it meant. With his new ranking, Charlie earned automatic entry into the Junior Players Championship at TPC Soros, a proving ground where junior elites meet future pros. The same fairways where his father once made history are now his to navigate, but this time, it's not about shadows or legacy. This isn't about who his dad is. It's about what he's just started. A name that once came as a footnote on the bag tag now stands alone on the leaderboard at first. Critics called it a flash, 1 weekend, 1 hot streak, but the numbers told a different story. 3 rounds under par.